Earlier this week, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins made a powerful statement that shocked millions of Americans. She called the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, a broken and corrupt program. Rollins revealed that investigators have uncovered thousands of cases of illegal benefit use, dozens of arrests for fraud, and even benefits still being paid to people who have passed away. She also stated that 21 states refused to share their data with federal investigators who were checking whether ineligible individuals, including undocumented immigrants, were receiving benefits. Her comments have reignited a national debate about how serious SNAP fraud really is, what the government plans to do about it, and how this could affect millions of families who depend on the program for basic groceries. What if you heard that massive fraud is draining billions from America's food assistance program? Would that mean tougher rules, delayed benefits, or even cuts for families who depend on this help to survive? In this video, we're breaking down the recent claims about widespread fraud in the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, and separating fact from political noise. We'll look at what the data really says, how serious the problem is, and what all this could mean for millions of households. You've likely seen statements calling SNAP broken or corrupt, with stories about arrests, fake claims, or people getting benefits they shouldn't. The truth is, these reports often mix two different things: fraud and error. Fraud means someone intentionally lies or manipulates the system, like selling benefits for cash. Errors happen when agencies or recipients make mistakes, incorrect paperwork, missing income verification, or processing problems. Those two categories are very different, but when politicians or headlines blend them, it creates fear and confusion among recipients. Let's start with how big this program really is. In 2024, SNAP served about 41.7 million Americans each month. That's nearly 1 in 8 people across the country. The federal government spent close to $99.8 billion last year, with the average benefit being about $187 per person per month. When that much taxpayer money is on the line, any mention of massive fraud triggers big reactions and real policy consequences. Here are the hard numbers. In the government's 2023 fiscal report, officials estimated that about 11.7% of all SNAP payments, roughly $10.5 billion, were classified as improper. That includes payments that were either too high, too low, or not supposed to be made at all. For 2024, the national error rate was just under 11% again. It's important to understand that these are not fraud numbers. They represent both human mistakes and system errors. True fraud is a much smaller portion. So, how much is actual fraud? Studies show that trafficking, selling or trading SNAP benefits for cash has dropped dramatically. In the 1990s, around 4% of benefits were trafficked. Today, it's closer to 1%. That's progress, but even 1% of $100 billion is still a billion-dollar problem. Fraud exists, but it's far from the scale being claimed in viral posts or political speeches. One area of concern that's growing fast is card skimming and theft. Criminals have been installing hidden devices on card readers, stealing EBT card information, cloning cards, and wiping out accounts right after deposits. Thousands of victims across the country have reported stolen benefits. States and the federal government are now working to strengthen security features and reimburse victims where possible. If you rely on SNAP, this is something you can personally guard against by changing your PIN frequently and checking your balance right after each deposit. Now, why are error rates rising even though intentional fraud remains low? There are 3 main reasons. First, local agencies have been overwhelmed. Staffing shortages and high caseloads after the pandemic led to more mistakes. Second, rules changed quickly. Temporary flexibilities during the pandemic, followed by sudden rollbacks, left room for confusion. Third, eligibility calculations are complicated. A missed pay stub or a wrong rent deduction can throw off a household's benefit level. These errors inflate the improper payment rate, but don't mean recipients are cheating. Another hot-button claim is that illegal immigrants are getting SNAP. That's mostly inaccurate. Undocumented immigrants are generally ineligible for SNAP under federal law. However, some households include both citizens and non-citizens, what's called mixed status families. In those cases, benefits only go to the eligible members, and the amount is reduced accordingly. Unfortunately, misleading statements about immigrants and fraud can scare away eligible families from applying, even when their children have every legal right to food assistance. With these fraud claims dominating headlines, expect tighter enforcement from Washington. The Department of Agriculture is pushing states to improve identity verification, share data more quickly, and launch new anti-fraud tools. This could mean more mail, more forms, and shorter response deadlines for households. While the goal is to reduce waste, the risk is that real families might lose benefits temporarily because of paperwork delays or confusion. So what can you do to protect yourself? First, treat your EBT card like a debit card. Never share your PIN and cover the keypad when entering it. Second, check your account frequently and report any suspicious transactions immediately. Third, keep your paperwork updated: income, rent, childcare costs, and household changes. Fourth, stay alert for recertification notices and respond on time. Finally, if you ever suspect fraud or benefit theft, contact your state agency and the USDA's Inspector General hotline right away. Quick reporting makes a difference. Here's the honest bottom line. The data shows that SNAP has an error rate of about 11%, which equals around $10 billion in mistakes each year. But the share of proven intentional fraud, people truly gaming the system, is closer to 1%. That's still significant, but it's nowhere near the massive corruption some claim. The real challenge is striking a balance, fixing waste and protecting taxpayers without punishing those who genuinely need food support. As stricter checks roll out, stay informed, stay proactive, and keep your information accurate to avoid interruptions. If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening with SNAP and the fraud investigation headlines, please like this video, subscribe to Social Security Post, and tap the bell so you don't miss future updates on SNAP, Social Security, and Medicare programs. Leave your questions below, especially if you've dealt with stolen EBT benefits or confusing recertification letters, and I'll reply to help explain what's next. Stay safe, stay informed, and thanks for watching. And before we wrap up, here's something important to think about. Every time news breaks about fraud, errors, or stolen benefits, it doesn't just affect Washington, it affects public opinion about whether programs like SNAP should even exist. That's why every honest recipient plays a role in keeping the system strong. Reporting theft, staying compliant, and using benefits properly sends a clear message that this program truly helps those in need. The truth is, for millions of families, children, seniors, and disabled Americans, SNAP is not a handout. It's a lifeline. Protecting its integrity protects our communities. So stay alert, stay honest, and keep spreading awareness about how vital this program is for people who simply want to put food on the table.